Hello everyone. You've probably all heard the saying, no hoof, no horse. But I like to say, no foot, no cowboy. Today I wanted to share a little bit information with you about shoes and how they impact our health, how they impact our body. So anytime I share this information, it's a little bit controversial and a few people always get mad. Please know this is not a blanket statement, but I am sharing with you what makes sense to me biomechanically in our body and what has helped me strengthen my body. So we don't very often think about our feet as needing to be strengthened or worked. We tend to forget that our feet are made up of bones and tendons and muscles just like the rest of us. And they are the very base of our body. And we need to be exercising and working our feet as well as the rest of our body. So we've talked a little bit about posture and how standing in alignment helps our body engage our muscles more effectively. It helps lower the risk of injury and pain. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how shoes impact that. And the first thing, I'm not bashing cowboy boots at all. I love them, but I wanted to show you a few of the cowboy features that make them less than ideal for our foot and our body health. So I'm just going to show you a few things. So number one, cowboy boots have a heel. And before you think I'm just bashing boots, actually almost all conventional shoes have some sort of heel, even the athletic trainers. And we don't very often think when I tell people don't wear a heel, they're like, well, I don't wear a heel. But then I look at their tennis shoes and they have maybe an inch heel that we don't really think about, but that does impact our body. So let me just show you. So if we wear a shoe with a heel, it puts our heels up off the ground an inch and a half for boots. And you can see, I mean, if I was able to rest my feet back, it would be a little less severe, but it shifts my heels upward, that then shifts my hips forward. I have to grip my knees to hold myself up, and my ankles are constantly flexed. And then also, in order to stay upright, I kind of have to pull my back behind me. So it's really, really hard to get into a neutral stance when we're wearing shoes with heels. So in my own body, I tend to avoid all shoes with heels unless I'm going on a date night or if I'm riding my horse. The heel is very, very important when we're riding a horse so that our foot doesn't slip through the stirrup. However, when I'm at my house or somewhere else, I try to avoid that, and I find shoes that have what they call a zero drop. So these are my very, very dirty running shoes. These are retired now, but these have zero drop. There is no heel in these shoes. And same with these ones. These ones look like they have a heel. The designer of this shoe has made it look like a conventional shoe, but it is zero drop inside. There is no raising of the heel whatsoever. So that is something that I look for. If you're not used to that, it can feel really weird. And there are shoes such as like the Ariat Cruiser, they have a little bit of a heel, but it's not as severe. So if you're used to wearing heels, just lower it a little bit just to help your body get in better alignment. The other thing that I look for in my shoes is a wide toe box. So cowboy boots are notorious for having very narrow toes. And we don't think about that very often, but what happens is it pinches our toes together like this. And sorry if feet gross you out, but it pinches your toes together like this. And one of the functions of our toes is to spread out and allow us to use those for balance. And when they are stuck like this, it can push over, create bunion issues on this big toe, and it can also just create less balance because your toes are not able to spread. When we walk, our toes spread out and they help us balance. So I look for shoes that have a wider toe box. So if you take my cowboy boot versus like this shoe, you can see this shoe right here has a lot more room for my toes. This one as well. There's just a lot more room up here for my toes to spread out as I'm walking. So that's the other thing that I look for in a pair of shoes. And then the last thing, there are a couple more things, but the last most important thing is I look for shoes that are flexible. So when we walk, our feet, they land on the heel first and then rotate to the baby toe and then the big toe to push off. And there's this reaction in our feet, and our feet are kind of constantly rolling when we walk. So it's something like this, and then we push off. And so your feet are constantly rolling with when you're walking and when you're moving. And if we put them into a shoe like a boot that doesn't bend, these are brand new, but they don't bend at all. I can't bend them at all. It takes that pressure of moving around. My shoe is a little bit more flexible because they're old, but still it's taking the arch of my foot is not able to move at all in those. And so then it takes that pressure and it transfers it up to our knees and our hips instead of allowing our feet to absorb it. So my shoes, these are my snow boots. I look for shoes that can twist so that my feet are able to rotate because that provides more cushion for our knees and our hips, and it also allows for us to have more balance when our toes are able to move. So this again is not an all or nothing thing, but I just want you to become more conscious about what you're putting. Every little thing that we do day to day impacts the way that we move, and it impacts the way that our body is moving. So if you're used to wearing heavy shoes with big heels or big soles, try something out. Even the Ariat Cruisers or the Drivers, I don't remember what these are called, they're fairly flexible. They're pretty good. And then after I get off my horse, I change into something that's more flexible, more comfortable, so that my body can have time to adjust. Anyway, I hope that's helpful. Goodbye.